In the next few days, Heathcliff all but stopped eating and spent the night walking outside. Catherine, happily working on her garden, came across him and was surprised to see him looking very much excited and wild and glad. Ellen urged him to eat, and indeed at dinner he took a heaping plate, but abruptly lost interest in food, seemed to be watching something by the window, and then went outside. Hareton followed to ask him what was wrong, and Heathcliff told him to go back to Catherine and not bother him. He came back an hour or two later with the same unnatural appearance of joy, shivering the way a tight-stretched cord vibrates, a strong thrilling rather than trembling. Ellen asked him what was going on, and he answered that he was within sight of his heaven, hardly 3 feet away. His heaven, needless to say, was being buried alongside Catherine Earnshaw. Later that evening, Ellen found Heathcliff sitting in the dark with all the windows open. His black eyes and pale face frightened her. Ellen half wondered if he were a vampire, but told herself that she was foolish since she had watched him grow up. The next day he was even more restless and could hardly speak coherently, and stared with fascination at nothing with an anguished yet raptured expression. Early the next morning, he declared he wanted to settle things with his lawyer, Mr. Green. Ellen said he should eat and get some sleep, but he replied that he could do neither. My soul's bliss kills my body, but does not satisfy itself. Ellen told him to repent his sins, and he thanked her for the reminder and asked her to make sure that he was buried next to Catherine. I have nearly attained my heaven, and that of others is altogether unvalued and uncoveted by me. Heathcliff behaved more and more strangely, talking openly of Catherine. Ellen called the doctor, but Heathcliff refused to see him. The next morning, she found him dead in his room by the open window, wet from the rain and caught up by the... Sorry, go back. Wet from the rain and caught by the broken window pane, with his eyes fiercely open and wearing a savage smile. Hareton mourned deeply for him. The doctor wondered what could have killed him, although Ellen knew that it was Heathcliff's depression. He was buried alongside Catherine's remains, as he had asked. People claim that his ghost roams the moors with Catherine. Ellen once came across a little boy crying because he believed he had seen Heathcliff's phantom with a woman and dared not pass them. Cathy and Hareton are engaged, and they plan to move to the Grange, leaving Wuthering Heights to Joseph and the ghosts. Lockwood notices on his walk home that the church was falling apart from neglect, and he found the 3 headstones, Catherine's, Edgar's, and Heathcliff's, covered by varying degrees of heather. He wondered how anyone could ever imagine unquiet slumbers for sleepers in that quiet earth. See you in the next class.